Road logistics is the most prolific means of transport in this country that caters to the needs of over 1 billion people and empowers consumers and corporations across industry to procure, produce, build, distribute and grow. The first ever Indian Oil Awards for Excellence in Road Logistics, brought to you by Indian Oil in association with Times Network, celebrated the unsung heroes in the road logistics space who have demonstrated exceptional performance and raised the bar for doing business both on and off the road. The evening saw a riveting panel discussion on how the logistics industry is propelling India's e-commerce revolution and how the domestic supply chain had embraced innovation to keep pace with global counterparts. On the panel were stalwarts from the industry: Vidayak Mullik, Senior Vice President Operations and Strategic Projects DTDC; Sahil Goel, CEO and co-founder Ship Rocket; Rakib Ahmed, co-founder LoadShare; and Subrat Kar, Chief General Manager, Retail Sales, Indian Oil. While the topic says logistics driving e-commerce growth, let's turn that around. How is e-commerce driving logistics growth? Mr. Mullik, I want to come to you first at DTDC. What are you seeing?
To be honest, the customers in e-commerce, the expectations that is set, that is pushing all the logistics companies, even companies like us, which are 30 years old, to do newer and newer innovations. Expectation is improving every day. So we need to analyze, we need to work on data-driven decisions, predictive analysis, robotics, AI, everything is coming into place. And newer innovations are coming every year.
Sahil, I'll come to you because Mr. Mullik spoke about AI and all the tech. That's what your company specializes in. Tell me about some of the adoption that you're seeing, this technology coming in and changing the whole game.
Broadly speaking, we focus specifically on the D2C retail market, right? So we don't serve the likes of an Amazon. But I think if you look at Amazon as a whole, because they seem to have set the new benchmark, as everyone's kind of talking about, there are so many new models around flexible workforce or around crowdsourced labor, or around using data and AI to predictably move packets faster. Right? You order something on Amazon tonight, it's at your house tomorrow. So they've completely redefined the hub and spoke into more of a P2P or a skipping points in the supply chain. And to do that, I think the ability to have mobile devices, the ability to have data, the ability to have control, that's the only real way. As consumers get more and more used to this newer experience of not days but hours, I think the whole industry would have to sort of somehow adopt all of these technologies to be able to keep at pace, right? So I think the adoption, while right now is being led by a few startups in the space and largely Amazon, Myntra, Flipkart, where they're doing next-gen logistics, I think the whole industry would eventually need to adopt onto that bandwagon.
Rakib, you're working with a lot of SMEs and enabling them. What are some of the challenges that you're seeing in the last mile delivery?
Specific to e-commerce deliveries, okay? So unlike any other express deliveries or perhaps the non-express segment where we have some time in hand, over here I have not time, not hours, perhaps minutes. The biggest problem is to give the time-bound delivery. And also, at the last mile, you have to solve the problem of how to get it at the lowest cost, how to make that product reachable to the last mile guy who is actually waiting there in the tier 2 city. And of course, when it is e-commerce, right, it comes with, in a country like us, where we never call it India, we call it Bharat, because 80%, 90% transactions happened in cash. So whatever Amazon, Flipkart, or likes of them are driving here today, all those shipments getting delivered, 80% to 90% COD, cash on delivery, is also needs to be collected, and it has to reach to the end seller. at the end of the day. Over here, when we connect these SMEs, these are not only the last mile players. So when we say it's load share networks, we connect the last mile delivery guy, the middle guy, the line haul provider, the first mile service provider, perhaps somebody in the ecosystem who is providing loans to the bikers who can buy, get the bikes, the delivery boys. So all of them, we are trying to connect and hooked into this network, which is called load share networks. And here, all the small problems from each guy comes to forward, and we try to give a consolidated solution via this overall group.
Mr. Kar, I'll come to you now. Talk to me about overall the transport industry. How is Indian Oil facilitating the transport industry to make the most of that growth?
As logistics is growing, the transportation requirement is also going. Now we understand that road logistics has started competing with air cargo, air logistics. So as I said, the last mile connectivity, there are two things. One is how fast I deliver, how accurately I deliver, and one big thing the logistic industry is facing as to how do I retain drivers, turnaround is not there. So basically, making a driver's job more dignified. So these are the problem statements. So we are working in two prongs. One is a business convenience to logistics sector. The second is working for drivers development in logistics sector. So as far as business convenience is concerned, we have a platform which we are facilitating a lot of things for logistics player to operate. The most important being we are doing a lot of widely B2B integration so that every logistic company can access and use a system, allocate money, serve the problem. Added to that, we have started various other services like telematics, which we are offering a single platform. They are able to do trip management. They are able to know the driver management. They assess the best drivers' skills, and wide lot of things. We are into, that's what the business convenience and what we're working on to. The other part is giving convenience to driver and seeing that these trucks like railway wagons, rolling stocks keep rolling. They have very short fueling. We offer all the convenience to driver when they come to our outlet. We have about 140 large format outlets. Beyond that, we have a network of about 800 outlets where we are giving facilities for driver resting. We are building hoda, we are building toilet. It's like, as I said, home away home. Driver doesn't feel he's out of home. So as the industry is growing, we have started giving this convenience. Mr. Malik, I want to come on one point that Mr. Kar also spoke about is very few people, I mean, maybe not so many people want to become drivers. So, you know, the age-old saying the doctor's child becomes a doctor, the lawyer's child becomes a lawyer. A driver's child might not want to be a driver now. But obviously, logistics requires driver. I mean, we talk about the driverless cars and driverless trucks, but that's way, way in the future, at least in case of India. In your case, how are you seeing that? How do you maintain the driver's efficiency, reduce the attrition? Because now drivers want to go to Uber, Ola also. They get good working conditions, they're in the city. So how is logistics industry tackling that? And there are many fleet owners here, so I'm sure they would want to know your thoughts.
Yeah, in DTDC, we actually see that, you know, every driver is trained. They understand the responsibility they are carrying. They are, we take time of the drivers. We do activities with the drivers, so that it is not that they always think that it is my duty is only to take the truck from one place to another place. They feel that they are part of the company. They have some responsibilities. They are adding value to the entire supply chain. Plus, we are also working on the health issues and the family issues of the driver. We are checking out the health in every 6 months, and we are also doing activities with the driver families so that they also feel that yes, our family member is doing something which is very good.
Sahil, one other issue that has in fact boosted the logistics industry is, I believe, the implementation of GST, because earlier cross-state transport was a big headache. How have you seen this being implemented on ground? What are some of the other hurdles that companies are still facing in cross-state transport?
Our platform actually works with a lot of social sellers and SMBs, so that's what we're focused on. And while we ourselves don't move the packets, we work with all of the 3PLs, connect into their APIs and pull in their information, and then make the whole thing orchestrate end to end. One of the things that we noticed in our data post GST is, I mean, there was a good blip in terms of overall SLA improvement, and it wasn't with a courier, it was across the board. So clearly, while we don't have on-ground visibility into what happened, I think what's obvious is that a lot of the time that was getting wasted on the border in terms of filling up the forms or waiting in line, I think that to a great extent has gotten solved. Even with e-way bill, right, with now that being electronically fileable, right, so we let sellers, for example, file it on a click. It saves a lot of hassle to fill out paperwork, etc. So I think those moves have definitely helped. There's no question about that in terms of bringing down overall time to move product. And I think overall, this is not just for e-commerce. I think that would have affected across all of India's supply chain.
That's true. So it's definitely making the impact that's required. Rakib, the other issue is we talk about tech innovations. That's great. That happens rapidly. But any supply chain innovations that you're seeing being implemented, you're working with, again, a plethora of SMEs. And usually, these innovations come out very often at the grassroots. If you could share some thoughts on that.
So, one good part about being in LoadShare is that we are able to talk to many people, whether they're working with us or they're not working with us, we are in touch with them. And we can see what is happening on the ground. So a couple of examples, whether in India or outside India, let me just tell it from the overall supply chain perspective. So there is a model which is getting worked on in China, where they are trying to drop off in a location, and somebody will pick it up from there, and they will also drop it without the consignee even being available over there. So it's not that there's OTP-based other thing which are live over here. So, but however, in India, it has not come yet. So that innovation is already, somebody's working on that. Second one is, apart from the traditional one, I'm sure you have heard of this Kirana model or the nearby drop-off models, right? I do see a lot of scope in this. So where there is a scope as well as challenges, being the primitiveness of the infrastructure in the country. So the scope remains that it is scalable, right? The person's, whoever is the end consignee or a person who orders in e-commerce, to his very near to his place there is a shop. It is converted into a drop hub, and there the shipments are going, and that person is able to pick it up as per his convenient time. So this is the second point where there is a lot of, I think, energy has been, is going from the industry side. And I do see it's getting scaled up now.
Mr. Kar, I want to come to you on some of the innovations that Indian Oil is also doing. So while this is happening, like I'm saying, on the grassroots level, some business solutions that you're putting in place that are, again, engaging with the industry, size of Indian Oil and the reach, helps you to kind of partner with the logistics, with the transport industry to make some improvements in their supply chain, providing them with better business solutions. Just wanted to know some insights on that.
I find a very big opportunity with regard to, as they said, the last mile delivery. We have close to about 27,500 retail outlet, and shortly we'll be adding another maybe 20,000 outlets in 2 years' time. I find all of our outlets operate 24/7. So this could be a very good proposition to use this outlet as a last mile pickup, because 24/7, anytime, it's not like Kirana shop model, it remains open. So this could be a very good model for making this outlet as a pickup centers for logistic industries going, and I find a lot of value in that. So we would also work in this line, how we have, but we need to also, as the industry grow, we need to get into that. As far as other than the convenience, as I said, to the business, or probably the pain point of this transport industry, as you said, the innovations also equally are happening in e-platform for us. this logistic, we offer B2B integration. This logistic industry will be able to add on very easily to offer B2B integration in which the entire fueling can be managed by the players by themselves. And I just talk about one thing. Everybody is working for now one goal, that how do you retain these drivers, how do you improve their their dignity of job, in which also in the model we have been trying to give whatever health services we carry on repeated, very frequent, other than our own POL transporters. At these outlets we have health camps under a brand name called Extra Power Ujala. So last year we have almost done a health checkup of more than 1,40,000 drivers on particularly entire health checkup at our outlets. We continue to look for to do it more and more, so that we bring again, we can also contribute to this logistics industry's growth.
Mr. Kar, you also have this extra power fleet card. Now, again, there are a lot of fleet owners here in the audience today, and I'm sure most of them are already members of that. But how have you seen that, if you could shed some light on the fleet card, or just how have you seen its acceptance and the benefits that the industry has faced by being a part of that?
Extra Power Fleet Card has been a pioneering program, as you said. It's a chip and pin secured card. Since 2003, not a single fraud has happened in this entire thing. And when the banking sector converted to chip card about 3-4 years back, as you know, the debit cards were changed. This program has been running on a chip card since 2003. And very secure, convenient, as I said, and rewarding. So, as you said, grown volume-wise. 2 years back, we were doing almost a business of 35,000 crores. Today, we are close to about 52,000 crores. And that's why, you know, how every player is getting added to us on this program. And by far, it is one of the best programs in the industries, and very convenient for operations. We have already developed, as we go on, very convenient mobile app. Even it can be operated remotely through simple mobile app, and possible interventions what we could get into. Recently, we are also added RFID-based fueling into our systems, where the form factor a card can be changed to RFID. We have just introduced. We have so far about 1,500 vehicles we have converted already, and we look forward to a very large conversion into RFID-based systems, where there's a ring and a nozzle has got a reader. When the system comes, when the vehicles come together, there's a handshaking happens, pre-authentication happens, and whatever fuel is delivered is being accounted in all systems. So that's why we are moving from step to step to make it more convenient to all our users.
Mr. Malik, one thing that is a real important part of the e-commerce business now is the returns. So I order a product, I don't like it, I put in it on the app, and the logistics company has to come pick it up and return it to the e-commerce seller. How are logistics companies like yourselves integrating that into your delivery, into your business model?
We have a cash on delivery, as well as we give free trials the e-commerce companies are giving. So returns are of two types. One is a person who has not accepted it at the last moment, and somebody who has already taken and is returning back the material. Anything which is not accepted is a much easier job than anything which is accepted, because we have to understand that what is the material that has gone in and what we are picking it up. Whether all the material, because you know, a mobile has got delivered, it may have charger, it may have other ear sets, there are a lot of things to be there. So we are actually using softwares to understand that what has gone in, where the pickup staff actually ticks in their mobile that, you know, these are the items. They can see whether those items are there, and we have to bring in. So that is, though it's a challenge, but I think with time, people are getting adjusted to.
Sahil, your business revolves around technology, but what do we see in the next 5 years? What could be the next breakthrough, disruptive technology that could change this industry?
We already talked about sort of the underlying things that could transform how logistics is done at a macro level, right? Whether it be it Internet of Things, or whether it be it, you know, using data and data science to do a lot of predictive stuff. So I think that will more or less create the basis of the innovations that will come out of this space. Other than that, I think you mentioned earlier, more than technology, I think supply chain innovation is critical in India, right? I mean, and I go back to sort of the example I was taking earlier where consumers are getting spoiled for choice, right? They want to be able to get their order when they want it, in the morning, in the evening, on Sundays. And as India's next 100 million people in tier 4 or 5 cities start to come online, cash on delivery will continue to prevail, right? And in that environment, because we work with over 15,000 sellers, one of the biggest issues, and you mentioned RTO, sir, right? One of the biggest issue is the ability to not deliver at the last mile. And that's caused by a variety of factors. I mean, sometimes it's driven by the buyer just not wanting it to begin with. Many times it's by the motivation of the FE who's actually making the delivery. So, and more than that, I think the traditional hub and spoke model just kind of continues to fail at that point. So I think true innovation needs to come in the models there, and the Kirana model or the flexible workforce model, those are some things. Along with that, technology will automatically start to play a very big role. And then obviously there are some ideas like drones, right? I don't know when they'll be
I was going to
legalized,
come to that.
but yeah, I think that the Amazon's already done it in the US. I'd love to see that happening at some point in India as well.
Fantastic. Rakib, your same thoughts, same question.
I think the biggest challenge in the opportunity in the logistics industry is the rate at which it is growing, right? Sometimes I see it is growing at 20% CAGR, next year it comes at 25% CAGR. So look at the growth, right? All of you senior people over here understand that anything which grows more than 10% CAGR is a massive growth. And here we're talking about 25% approx, right? So how do we deal with that growth? And in e-commerce, the growth doesn't come. So unlike the traditional express industry where you have a stable demand or supply that is coming in, right? Over here, what happens, the growth will come in spikes, right? You will suddenly get the growth in October, November, December. Okay, fine, you have hit the sky. Then in December, January, February, March, you have hit the bottom. Again, it will come to the spike. So the variation of the demand, and slowly with each variation, it will stabilize the line at an upper level. Again, it will give another kick, it will stabilize the line at upper level. How do we deal with that kind of spikes that also in 3 to 6 months? That's number one. So this I call as scalability challenge. So here, a couple of new age ideas like this Kirana model, like this crowdsourcing model, these things come into picture. And the biggest thing which I do foresee is, which is happening is the handshake of the small players with each other.
Mr. Kar, your last closing comments on the panel, just the way ahead that you see for the transport and logistics industry in India.
I would like to say, while various forms of energy demand is going on, we are moving into CNG, LNG, where these challenges we have been trying, and electric. There is this industry, this petrol diesel is also set to grow almost double by 2030. So the volume challenge remains with us. As industry grows up, we look forward to serve them with a smile, with the same efficiency, or maybe a higher level of efficiency. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, gentlemen, for that. It's been a very informative panel. The industry is all set to grow, and the different players, e-commerce is going to play a large role. Definitely drivers are going to be really important, so we have to take care of them. But overall, it's going to be quite an interesting few years ahead. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being on the panel.
On next week's episode, we celebrate and award the game changers in the Indian road logistics industry.